I'm Holly.
And I'm Bridget.
And this
is Girls Next Level.
Welcome back to Girls Next Level podcast, everybody. We are back after a long week.
Yes, and in a new situation.
Yeah, if you're watching the video, we are back at my house temporarily, taking a little break from the studio. Yeah, so I haven't used this equipment in like 7 months, so I had to redo it all because of course there's been system updates and everything, so we'll see how this goes. So it's been a crazy week. I finally came back from Vegas after 2 weeks of being away. And the fires are still going. How are things out where you are?
Bad. There were fires, like I said before, all around us. But now there's new fires, and they're even closer all around us. My bag has been packed for almost, not quite 2 weeks, but probably 9 days straight or something like that. We are just on fire watch, stuck on the app. Every time a new fire pops up, I get alerted. And even ones, it all depends on which way the wind is blowing, which ones really affect you. So even ones that are further away sometimes are more of a threat because of the way the winds are blowing.
Oh, that's super interesting.
The Castaic one seems like that would be really far for us, but all of a sudden we look out our windows and there's the biggest, huge plume of black smoke coming up, and we're like, oh shit, this could be a problem. And luckily the wind shifted and it went another way. And last I heard, almost everybody was kind of out of, I think people are still evacuated, but almost everybody, they've saved all the homes, as last I heard. And we are out of danger out of that one so far. But last night was the windiest I've ever seen. And today is windier, even though we had those windy days before. For me anyway, I feel like these last night and today have been the craziest wind. So I don't even have my phone on. I usually put it on Do Not Disturb when we're recording. I don't have it on Do Not Disturb today because I feel like I'm on pins and needles. At any moment I could get a call we gotta go. Yeah, and I'm gonna have to run home and grab what I can, if I even have time to do that.
Yeah.
These winds are so catastrophic, that they call them the Weather Service actually issues a warning, a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation, and that's what we're in right now, and it's so crazy.
It's so crazy. So the fires have been going on for 2 weeks now. Mm-hmm. That's insane.
And they just keep popping up everywhere. It's crazy, but hopefully there's supposed to be some rain.
Oh, yeah.
But then the first thing people say about that is mudslides, and they freak out about the mudslides because once you have a fire, then it's prone to mudslides, and it's just we can't win.
On a completely different topic, have you heard of the cum walk?
No, that is a different topic, though.
Okay, well, remember Lily Phillips, the OnlyFans model who was trying to sleep with 1,000 men in one day?
Yes, I didn't remember her by name, but yes, now that you say that, yes. Yeah.
She did a porn where 2 guys came on her face, and then she walked around with the cum on her face outside to see if anybody else wanted to sleep with her.
That's how she's inviting people?
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like
the video I saw was pretty short. She's just going outside and talking to the camera about it. But don't you feel like nobody would really know what's on her face?
How would you know? How would you think? Why would anybody think that it would be that on anybody's face walking outside?
I know. I feel like she'd be walking outside. It's oh, what spot did you just come from?
I guess it depends on where you are. I think it's very relevant. If you're in a rural area and you walk outside like that, I guess not very many people are going to see you or comment to you.
It looked like she was in London or some British city.
Oh, London, I think it would just freeze onto your face right now. It just depends. If you're in New York, people would just be that's
a crazy person on the subway.
Yeah, and if you're in LA, I don't know, spa
day, yeah. What are you doing for your skin? It looks so amazing.
Your face looks so dewy.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about Lily Phillips earlier because everybody's making this commentary why we shouldn't feel sorry for Lily Phillips. And I'm she's not asking you to feel sorry for her. But then I keep seeing videos of her. I saw a video on Instagram Reels or something where she's ladies, give me your husbands and your boyfriends and your sons. And I'm okay, she's a rage baiter at this point. Obviously trying to sleep with 1,000 men in one day is a publicity stunt for her OnlyFans, but this is just straight up rage baiting. And moment of self-awareness, I think I kind of hate on rage baiters because I don't have the balls to be one. And sometimes I think I'd do a lot better in my online numbers if I had the balls to be a rage baiter.
But is that the kind of energy you want? Like, I wouldn't want to be a rage baiter because that's just too much negative energy and too much, like, drama. Like, I would not want that in my life.
Yeah, like I'll come up with a clickbait headline, sure, but I don't know. Like if I'm pissing somebody off online, it's purely organic. Like I feel like when I piss,
That's just me. I'm not doing it on purpose.
when I piss people off, I feel like I want to run into my house and hide because they're outside with pitchforks and torches. Like for me, it feels visceral, and I kind of admire the ability to troll and rage bait because clearly they're not that bothered by it.
Oh, there's some people that are not bothered by it. I think that they get off on that.
Wow.
I think it's a certain form of energy vampire that like likes that kind of attention and like thinks that's funny and interest and like not me. Not me. That would like make me not sleep for days and be sick about it and feel misunderstood and no, I like positive energy around me. I like supportiveness.
Was everybody up in your DMs telling you that Kanye West posted a clip from Girls Next Door?
But I didn't look at it, did you?
Yeah, it was the clip of Pamela Anderson bringing out the birthday cake nude.
I heard that that's what it was, but I didn't go and see.
Why do you think he randomly posted that? Do you think it was like his Bianca Sensori new inspo moment or something?
Like he wants her to be like that? Like
Probably. He's always like walking her around next to naked. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to my head.
Well, the first thing that came to my head is, okay, wow, does he have permission to post that video? And I don't even mean from like Girls Next Door, but I mean like I know it was on the show, but Pam is naked in that, and like probably I feel like she's going through a whole metamorphosis right now, and I don't think that's the kind of message she's trying to send or image she wants out there right now. I mean, I guess once it's out there, but like I just feel like, did he ask her if that was okay to post that?
I'm sure not.
I'm sure not too. And then everybody was tagging me as if we were in it, and we're not. It's not about us. It's about that whole scene is strictly about Pam parading naked with a birthday cake for Hef. So it's only about Pam and Hef. It's not even about us. So I think the whole thing is interesting, and it's interesting so many people tagged us.
So it's been a crazy couple weeks with the fires, a lot of political stuff, but that's not what this podcast is about. So we're going to take you back in time to 2007, to La La Land for Playmate of the Year, Part 2.
The most valuable app that you can have on your phone in 2025 is Upside. No other app out there gives you the power to earn more like Upside does. Whether you're filling up your tank, going out to eat, or shopping for groceries, the Upside app gives you opportunities to earn cash back on every purchase. And these are necessary purchases that you would have to make anyway. Top earners on Upside are getting as much as $300 cash back every month. I love using Upside when I am at a restaurant and when I'm grabbing groceries. I know, everything has to do with food with me. It's so easy to use. You just go onto the free app and claim the cash back offer. And then you just shop as usual using your credit card or debit card. And then earn cash back. And it will go directly to your bank account. And for me, I like it to go directly to my savings account.
I am always in my car, so I love using the Upside app at the gas station. There are over 100,000 gas stations, grocery stores, and restaurants on the Upside app, ensuring that cash back is always just around the corner. And yes, it is real cash back. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Just actual money you can transfer straight to your bank account. People can earn 3 times more cash back with Upside than any other product. This includes loyalty programs and credit card rewards. $1 million cash back is being earned by users each week. Download the free Upside app and use promo code NEXTLEVEL to get an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code NEXTLEVEL. We are going back to season 3, episode whatever, PMOY-not.
Episode whatever. Whatever.
We don't know anymore.
It was episode 8.
Okay, perfect.
And we're on the second half of that episode. And the second half starts out in my room, and Crystal and I are getting ready to go to the studio. And I'm clearly going to be shooting something too. And at first I wasn't sure what I was going to be shooting because I have no makeup, just robe. I'm wearing my mucklucks.
Yeah.
And I got a bag, and I'm ready to go. And Crystal is going to shoot her Cybergirl. And is it kind of crazy that Crystal's been around this long and she's just now getting her first, like, pictorial of any kind?
Yeah, it is, especially since Hef wasn't really shy about giving out Cybergirl.
I think it was more Crystal being shy about asking for it.
Totally.
That she was very, like, scared to ask for anything and very shy about stuff like that. So I feel like she didn't want to push it.
Should we talk about what Cybergirl is? Like, I don't know if we've really talked about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So when Playboy opened their Playboy.com in like late 90s or whenever it was, they started doing this feature where every week there would be a new nude girl, and that was the Cybergirl of the week. And there would be voting every month, and then there would be a Cybergirl of the month, and then out of all the Cybergirls of the month, you could vote for Cybergirl of the year.
Oh.
And I think Cybergirl is not like a really big prize in and of itself. It's
No.
just nudes online. I mean, they make you look really beautiful. It's like a Playmate style shoot, kind of. You know, it just paid like $1,000. So it's not like that big prize in and of itself. And I think that's why Hef wasn't shy about handing it out, is he knows it's not that coveted and it's not going to give you that much independence. But it could be a stepping stone. Like if you prove that you're popular enough through the voting to be Cybergirl of the month and then maybe Cybergirl of the year, maybe you could graduate to Playmate. And you talk in Confessional about Carmela was a Cybergirl, and then Cybergirl of the month, and then Playmate of the month, and then Playmate of the year. So that can happen. Also,
Can I put a but in there, though?
Yeah, what?
But it usually meant the end of your Playboy career right there. I feel like.
Yeah,
It
not very many
typically-
people graduated.
It typically meant, oh, you're not good enough as Playmate, so we're gonna make you a Cybergirl, and then now your nudes are already out there, so you're not gonna go any further. That's typically how it went down. That's why I was so upset when Hef was like, we can make you a Cybergirl, like way back in the day.
Yeah.
And then they used my old pictures from like,
oh, no.
I forget how many years
the old
before,
test,
which already looked dated, so bad, and then put it in the mix for I was just like, no, this is everything I don't want.
Yeah.
I mean, it felt like it was at least something, but it was nothing I wanted. You know?
No, that totally makes sense. And I can't think of too many Playmates who came from Cybergirl. I know that after Audra tested, they made her a Cybergirl first and then Playmate. I think Stephanie Heinrich might have been the first Cybergirl, and then she became a girlfriend and then a Playmate. And obviously
it does
Carmela
happen.
and Monica. So it happens, but it's very rare. Like we're talking like decades of Cybergirls, and I can only think of 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Maybe there have been more, but I don't know who.
And there's literally one every week.
Yeah.
So imagine, how many there are. But it was kind of, I felt like a push off on the girl, like, and then also a way for them to just get free nudes to have their content stocked
Exactly.
online. It just felt like a real thing.
And almost every Playmate test would be used as a Cybergirl unless the girl said absolutely not.
And was she even allowed to say that, though?
I really don't know. I think they were contacted. Like, I think after a girl tested and didn't make it, they'd be contacted and be like, oh, would you like to be a Cybergirl? I think so. Like, I could be wrong. Like, if anybody out there had that experience and, like, wasn't asked, let us know. But I think generally when you tested for Playmate, you weren't necessarily signing your photos over. But that's always, like, a weird gray area with Playboy. Like, you don't always consent to have your pictures published. I mean, ask Vanna White.
They published mine.
Yeah.
They published mine from my test, and I didn't even know I was in the magazine.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 pages, full pages of my shoot. And somebody else called me and was like, hey, you're in Playboy. And it wasn't like the real magazine, the monthly magazine. It was in what we call the flats or the special editions. But like, I had no idea. I
Yeah.
had no idea that I was in there. So they totally published my test without asking.
It's murky waters.
Yeah, I remember, and I don't even remember who it was, but I remember there was a girl who was like very like pro Cybergirl and was like super campaigning for Cybergirl of the Year and like was really trying to like make that a thing.
Was it the gamer girl with brown hair?
I was
Her name
thinking,
was like Joe Garcia or something.
oh, that sounds so familiar.
Yeah, like she really like kind of made it a thing. And I feel like every once in a while, it was really rare, cyber girls would be hired for like some kind of promotions. And I think this was before our time, but I feel like I've even seen pictures of they had outfits for it. And it was very like cheesy, futuristic, because the thing was, it's like, oh, Playboy's online now, so let's get Jetsons, which is kind of cheesy. But it was like a silver crop top and a silver skirt and like silver armbands that said cyber girl, which sounds so incredibly corny, and it kind of was, to be honest.
Well, when you say cyber, it kind of makes you think spacey and futuristic.
Yeah.
So I see where they're going with it, and I like a theme, so I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. So Crystal's nervous about it, so she wants me to bring some bottle of wine. I think she bought me a bottle of wine for something, and then she wants me to bring it so we can drink it at the studio, which is kind of funny because you would think that. I don't know. I was just watching this back and I was thinking, why would Crystal be so nervous about this right now? Because she's been around for so long and...
Well, I think anytime you're doing a shoot like that, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, even if you're not shy maybe about nudity in general, you just so badly want to look your best. And like this could be a big opportunity. And especially knowing the TV show cameras are capturing it, that's kind of a whole other level of pressure.
Yeah, that might be part of that. Yeah.
And she might be thinking, oh, am I going to be compared to like the other girls that they see so regularly on this show? Not that she doesn't hold up, she totally does. But I feel like if I were her, I might be a little bit nervous about that too.
Yeah, I guess anytime posing nude, there's a little bit of anxiety. And even though she's been, like, she used to come to the studio and watch us shoot and everything. So it's not like she's totally unfamiliar with all of this stuff. But I get it.
When you're in the room, you make this real offhand comment like, oh, I need to brush my teeth, I have coffee breath. And as dumb as that is and how you wouldn't think anything of it now, do you remember back then they used to get so excited because step back with us guys, reality TV was new back then. They used to get so excited about getting those real moments.
Yeah.
Like it sounds so dumb now because no one would fucking care. But back then, catching somebody saying something so offhand and casual and something not polished, like, oh, I need to brush my teeth, I have coffee breath. That's so real. Oh my God.
I'm surprised they didn't follow me in to watch me do it.
I know. Like they'd get so excited about capturing something as real as that. And I just think today's generation couldn't comprehend because people are oversharing everything. But back then it was like, ooh, we got this golden moment. Like, what do you mean a wasp flew into Kendra's room and everybody freaked out? You know, it's like, it's different world, different time.
Totally. Mo comes in and says hi, but I feel bad about saying this because Crystal is about to say how much she is like feels good to get special attention from Mo and stuff, and Mo coming over and saying hello to her and everything. One of us girls from the mansion.
Probably.
And with the film crew. So, but she got real close and like really got in Crystal's face to say hello. Like she was trying to like see, is that Kendra? Who is that? And I honestly felt like, and this is nothing mean to Crystal, but I felt like Mo did not know who it was.
No, I think you're right. And again, it's nothing against Crystal too, but she is very shy. For years, Hef did have such a revolving door of girlfriends. How is she supposed to know?
Yeah.
She doesn't know.
I mean,
and that's nothing against Crystal. It's
Yeah.
just like she wouldn't know about a lot of other people either.
I just feel bad because then Crystal's like, oh, it feels so great to get special attention from a Playboy legend like Mo is like her next line. And I'm like, I think Mo was trying to figure out, well, which one is this?
Yeah.
That's what I think Mo was trying to do.
And I feel like the producers probably asked her to say something like
I think
that kind
so
of
too.
And Crystal is first of all, I love seeing a confessional on Crystal. Like I love seeing confessionals on the other girls. Like I wish they would have done it with the other PMOY candidates, not just Sarah. And they don't use enough of Sarah, but I love seeing the blip we do see of Sarah and the blip we do see of Crystal. And when they go into the studio, you're still seeing, like I haven't revamped the walls yet. Like you're still seeing the old sun-faded centerfolds that have probably been hanging there 10, if not 15 years. They've been under the skylights getting sun-faded, and it's just these old centerfolds.
Yeah, and Crystal says, today Cybergirl, tomorrow who knows? And I like the optimism.
Why do you think Crystal's shoot was put in this episode? Do you think they were low on footage? Do you think, was Crystal living at the Playmate house at that time and they were trying to do something Playmate house without saying it? Or do you think this whole episode was just like, this is our opportunity to widen the world of Playboy and include more characters?
Well, I think it's a mixture of things. I think they needed some nudity in this episode. I think that...
Let's us not forget.
Yeah, I think that Crystal probably was living at the house. I mean, her schedule, I can't keep her timeline straight. I don't even know if she can, like when she was there, when she wasn't
was
there.
so in and out.
But I'm assuming she probably was living at the house for her to want to ask for something like that at that time. And then also, I think they were trying to widen the net a little bit. But the problem is, I don't get to know Crystal any better either in this. I get to see her personality a little bit more, but I don't know anything about Crystal after watching this whole thing. Like, where is she from? Why does she want to do this? Like, what is the next step she thinks it's going to take her to? What does she want in life? Like, I don't, just like the other girls vying for Playmate of the Year, I still don't know anything more. And this was a huge opportunity for them to like let the audience get to know other girls better. And I just feel like they missed that entirely.
I know. I wish I could go back in time and make this show a shade deeper. Like, don't get me wrong. I appreciate the lightheartedness and the poppiness and all the silliness and the cartoonery. I like that too. But I wish it could have also had that extra layer. Like, I think that would have been so nice. Well, but that's what we're doing now. We're trying
especially in an episode like this where it's about that. Like, and we still skip it. Did they do special set designs? Because they were talking about how it was like Bali inspired and stuff, I think, on hers. Do they do that for Cyber Girls?
No, I mean, they may have once upon a time, but when I was there, we were very cost efficient, and that set was for Tamara Sky.
Okay.
Because she's from Puerto Rico, so we were trying to do something a little tropical.
Yeah. And she's shooting with photographer Kim, who typically did the college shoots. Did you ever shoot with him? Or
No.
Me neither.
We were just recently talking about our snowboarding episode on Girls Next Door, and we had these amazing custom snowboards made and all this gear sent to us. It was incredible, but it got me thinking, like, if I ever wanted to recreate that experience again, how am I going to get my board and all my gear to Vail or anywhere else for that matter? It's hard enough lugging my suitcase through the airports and getting that all checked in and finding it at baggage claim, let alone all of my snowboarding gear. Now I've learned about ship skis. The snowboard and the gear will arrive safely and on schedule. Skip airport stress and costly airline fees with complimentary insurance, real-time tracking, dedicated support, and on-time delivery. Just schedule your shipment, attach your label, and ShipSkis handles the rest, delivering your gear directly to your destination.
ShipSkis offers white glove shipping for ski and snowboard gear. Travel worldwide without luggage. ShipSkis delivers to 180 countries for a hassle-free, gear-free journey. ShipSkis is trusted by thousands of skiers and travelers, rated 4.8 out of 5 on Trustpilot, and featured in Forbes, Travel and Leisure, Free Skier, and Inc. Right now, ShipSkis is offering our listeners 20% off your first shipment when you go to shipskis.com and use the code NEXTLEVEL. Go to shipskis.com and use the code NEXTLEVEL to get 20% off your first shipment and save yourself the hassle this ski season. That's shipskis.com. Make sure you use the code NEXTLEVEL so they know we sent you.
And they put her in a little red lingerie number. And there's a rip in the lingerie. And they start shooting, kind of. And I thought, at first I was like, okay, well, no big deal, because they always have to do a lot of things just to adjust the lighting and like kind of catch the pose and that kind of stuff. So I didn't think anything of it. But I think they were like really shooting, and then before they noticed the rip.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a bummer, because it looked like there were some good shots in there.
And it seems like a dumb thing to focus on, but I think what they were going for is kind of the humor of like, well, it's Playboy. Why do the clothes even matter? It's nude.
I think that's
but
what
there
they're
is
going for,
more that
too.
kind of goes into a Playboy shoot than just nipples.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize how much the clothing does add to a pictorial and a set and stuff, and you can't have a rip in it. So then the next scene, we're back at the mansion, and Hef is in the office with Mary.
And you can see that they're kind of doing this scene that, you know, they were probably asked to do to set up for the audience, and Hef being like, well, you know, the final decision, blah, blah, blah. And they're talking about like the pros of each girl and stuff. And you can see he has his notepad is written the names of all the girls from the Playmate House and Kia Drayton.
Yeah, which is a bummer for her.
Yeah. I have a few questions too. I was worried I didn't have enough notes for the second half of this episode. So I asked on Patreon, like, do you guys have any questions? And a lot of it was stuff we planned on talking about anyway. But let me bring up a couple because I think they might play in around this time.
Okay.
Okay, this has nothing to do with the timeline we're on, but I thought it was interesting. Susie Jordan asked, you may not know this, but who chose the Playmate of the Year after Hef passed? Well, Hef passed away in 2017, so there were only like 2 more Playmates of the Year after that. I have no idea who chose, but he wasn't choosing the last couple ones. I think the last one he chose, and I know this because I was shooting with Barry and they were giving me some Playboy gossip and was saying how hard she worked to try and get Danny Mathers to be a Playmate. You know, she was like, oh, she kind of looks like Pam. So we did a test with her to make her look like Pamela because we knew she would get chosen that way. And, you know, she's going to be Playmate of the Year. And, you know, Hef likes her because she looks like Pam. And she said, we kind of get the feeling like they're throwing Hef a bone because this is the last year they're going to let him pick.
And what year was that?
2015. So 2016 and 2017, whoever the girls were, Hef wasn't picking. But even before that, there were a couple years where I feel like technically maybe Hef was picking, but I think the influence was coming from like the newer editors they had. Like, I don't want to say who this is, but there was a year not too long after we left that rumor has it she was dating whoever like the new editor was. So that girl got chosen as opposed to like you might look at that year and think other people might have been Hef's favorites.
Oh,
but it was like I could see the torch had passed. So technically I think the last one he picked was Danny Mathers, but I think it was a little murkier.
Do you think Danny Mathers looks like Pam Anderson?
I can see the resemblance. Danny Mathers wrote a fucking mean-ass comment to me after my book came out, which is not rare.
Well, we should talk about what Danny Mathers did.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So, okay, obviously, like a lot, I got so much backlash when my book came out, and I expected that. But Danny Mathers wrote a really fucking mean comment under one of my pictures. And I'm thinking, I'm sorry my book overshadowed your Playmate of the Year issue coming out since it came out around the same time. I've never met her in my life. She came along when the casting couch was done and over. She might have had a different experience had she tried to be a Playmate like 10 years earlier. You know, so I did not appreciate that. But I don't think it was just her being nasty toward me was a one-time thing because she got in big trouble because she was at a gym in LA and there was like an older woman who was like in her 70s and going to the gym and changing in the locker room. And she took a picture where you can see fully the lady nude behind her. And she's like, ha ha ha. And her caption was, if I have to see this, so do you. And she posted it on her Snapchat.
Yes.
So that turned into a huge scandal. I don't remember the details or what the legality of it was. Like, I think she got banned from that gym. I think she was like, Playboy stopped working with her.
Yeah.
I think there might have been a lawsuit involved.
There should have been.
Yeah.
Can you imagine somebody posts a photo of you nude at the gym in the locker room and is like snickering about it and like making fun of you?
You're a 70-year-old woman who's still going out like getting it, being healthy, trying to be your best self, and some fucking bitch takes a picture of you nude and posts it on Snapchat. Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
Wow.
I was in absolute shock when the story hit. I was just like, and do you remember when that was?
It was when she was Playmate of the Year still, I
That's
think.
what I
So it was
thought,
probably
because
2015, 2016.
I thought they kind of revoked her Playmate of the Year. So
Yeah.
I don't know if they did it like actual.
I think it was unofficial. Like,
Yeah.
I think Playboy never goes back and unplaymates anyone, but I think it was like, okay, we're not working with her anymore.
They should have. They should have pulled it and like given it to whoever would have gotten it if it wasn't for her.
Right, new pictorial.
Yeah.
And I remember people were asking me about that. Oh, what do you think about this? I go, I'm not surprised because she left the meanest fucking comment on my page.
Yeah.
When she doesn't know, like she wasn't there during my timeline. She doesn't fucking know what she's talking about.
Yeah.
And I hope she's grown and I hope she's in a better place now.
Yes. Well said. So now where
Off
were
topic.
we? Oh, questions. Were there more questions right in here?
Oh, let me see if they fit in around
Just
here.
as of note, too, in commentary, we're talking about at this time that we already all know who we want to win it for the next year and that she better win. And we're all adamant on the same person.
It had to have been Patrice because she was my pick.
Yeah.
Probably would have been Kendra's pick. And was she your pick?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was Patrice.
Yeah. And for those who were wondering, I mean, we can talk more about it next episode because Patrice is there.
Yeah.
So we'll get into why she didn't and blah, blah, blah. Which was nothing bad on her. Dana Dazed asked, could a Playmate be a Playmate again and in the running for Playmate of the Year more than once? No, once you're a Playmate, it was done. But I will say, back in the day, in the 50s, when they didn't have as many models, there were a few who repeated. Like Janet Pilgrim was a Playmate 3 different times. So that's interesting. But that wasn't the case like in modern times.
Yeah.
Caitlin Morris asks, Kiana mentioned somebody, maybe Pat Lacey, mentioned she needed to almost rub shoulders more if she wanted to be more seriously considered for PMOY. What do you think she meant by that? I don't think it was anything sinister. Like you could take that and be like, what does that mean? Does she have to sleep with people? I think it means just like show your face more at the mansion, socialize with Hef and the girls so they know who you are and know who you are as a person. And also on Playmate promotions, they wanted the Playmates to show up and really socialize with everybody. And I know sometimes that got a little iffy for some people. Like some girls would complain, not to the point where you expected to like sleep with anybody or anything, but sometimes you'd be nudged over like, oh, go talk to that guy. He makes a lot of money. And some of the girls were like, like I don't want to do that. Or they felt like they were kind of being asked to like flirt when they didn't want to flirt, which I would have felt uncomfortable with, especially being a socially awkward person. So I think sometimes it was a little, I want to say old-fashioned. Like maybe if you were coming up in the early 60s and your main goal in life was to land a rich husband, maybe that's the way people act, but not so much anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was anything like sinister. I think with Kiana, she meant like, you know, talk to everybody at promotions and like go show your face at the mansion and make sure everybody knows you.
Yeah.
Those were the only ones I screenshot that I thought, oh, we didn't have this on the list. Most of the other things we're going to cover or have covered.
So then the next scene, we're back on the golf course with Kendra and Monica, and Kendra's kind of grilling her about like what she would want to do if she won. And I totally forgot that Monica used to sing.
Oh, yeah.
Because she says, oh, probably modeling, acting, and singing. And I was like, singing? That's right.
Yeah.
She used to sing. And I totally, see, and we, like, they should have flashed to something of her, like, singing for a second.
Yeah, because
like,
I didn't even think to catch that when I'm rewatching this.
Yeah. And then Kendra's grilling her about her favorite sports team, and it's just not Monica's thing, but she's trying to be, like, politically correct for
It's
Kendra.
a cute little skit. Like, she's trying to be funny, and she's like, my favorite sport? Football. You know? Like, and it's very much for the cameras and, like, being funny.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Hooters. We're at Hooters with Allison and Sarah, and I asked what they would like to do for their pictorials. And Sarah says she wants to do super sexy, like smoky eye with a whip. And obviously she didn't do that for her pictorial, which somebody did ask on the Patreon. Did Playmates of the Year ever get to contribute as far as like the idea or theme for their photo shoot? Absolutely not. Like that was something very much Marilyn was in control of, and Hef wanted to see a certain thing. And they wanted to see Sarah as like that cute little prairie farm girl as always, which was great. But one thing we did was we were shooting a lot of internet extras, or Playboy was, when I was at the studio. And Steve Wada very much wanted to get involved in the video division. So I thought it would be fun to kind of give him that opportunity and do something with Sarah. So we shot like a very sexy, like almost S&M look on Sarah with like a faux hawk and like the smoky eyes and stuff. So we did that for like internet extra. So she got to do it, but not for a Playmate of the Year pictorial.
Okay, in scene right here, I have a question for you. Sarah picks up a paper and says something about like the 3 E's. It's like a Hooters mantra or something.
Yeah.
What is it?
Every table, every guest, every Hooters girl, I think. I could get the guest one wrong. I don't know. But it's like you're supposed to go, if you have time, like there's no downtime at Hooters. Like if you don't have tables, you're supposed to go around and talk to everybody. Or like ideally, like this doesn't always happen if you're busy, but ideally if you go to Hooters and you sit down at a table, you will interact with every Hooter girl.
Oh.
So that's the goal. And even if there's like, it's not busy and you have absolutely nothing to do, you're supposed to go around and do card tricks. You're supposed to hula hoop in the corner. Like you're supposed to do something. So that's why we're hula hooping. And of course, like I'm a world champion hula hooper in my mind. I was roller skating too, which they don't ask you to do, but I kind of took it upon myself to be a roller skating waitress. So I was getting my workout in.
Yeah. So then we're back at the studio for Crystal's Cybergirl shoot. And Crystal says she felt like a lot of support for her shoot. It shows me there, but it doesn't show anyone else. But I think you were there too.
Were you shooting calendar?
I think so.
I think I was too, because I remember in the calendar episode, I'm kind of peeking around the corner a little bit.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I was shooting like the witch photos that day.
That makes sense. But they don't want to show me because I'm supposed to be at Hooters at the same time.
Right.
So
and Crystal says that shooting Cybergirl definitely makes her feel like part of the Playboy family. And it was an amazing experience for her. And that's good because I feel like even when I was given Cyber Girl, like even though it's not what I wanted and it wasn't the direction I wanted things to go and stuff, it does make you feel a little bit more legitimate. Like I have a title now.
Totally, especially since if you're living at the house as a girlfriend or spending a lot of time over there, everybody in the outside world expects you to have some sort of title. And when you don't, you kind of feel dumb.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't bugging you before, it's going to bug you now because people are like, well, what are you? Are you a playmate? And you know what? I would always cringe when I would hear this just because I know how it feels. It would even happen to like the older women who were friends with Hef and were still around. I have such a strong memory of like being at the Sunday night buffet on a Fun in the Sunday and being outside at those tables. And sometimes there would be like a newcomer that night and they would meet like one of Hef's older friends from like the 70s who's still around, who maybe worked for him in some other capacity, or somebody like Jill Terashita, who's just like super close friends with all the playmates in the 80s and was still coming around. And she was a very beautiful woman with this long, gorgeous hair. So people expect that they were like playmates from back in the day. And I would hear people go up and be like, oh, well, when were you in the magazine?
Yes.
And I kind of feel the vibe because I would hear them answer and be like, oh, I didn't want to pose because like, you know, my grandma, or like they still felt like they had to come up with these excuses as to why they weren't picked as like the prettiest. And it's a sucky position to be in, you know?
Yes. I heard it asked a lot.
And I would always kind of cringe because I knew how it felt. And it must suck to still be being asked that like decades later.
Right.
Ooh. I mean, maybe they don't care. Maybe I was projecting, but I would kind of feel the vibe that it was like that.
The holidays are over, and I got some pretty cool gifts. But one thing I'm most excited about is the gift I just got for myself. I treated myself and got the iRestore Elite. It's the hair growth solution that you deserve. This isn't just some gadget. It's a powerful FDA-cleared laser cap designed to fight thinning hair and hair loss with clinically proven results. With 282 lasers and LEDs delivering light therapy to your scalp, it's like a spa day for your follicles. Not only that, but it's lightweight, hands-free, and completely painless. So you can just kick back and relax and let it do its thing. And I typically like to multitask while I'm doing this, so I love that it's hands-free because I will also be doing a Spanish lesson or reading a book or watching a TV program. And for a limited time, our listeners can save $625 off the iRestore Elite at irestorelaser.com/nextlevel. Head to irestorelaser.com/nextlevel to get the hair grow device that you've been wishing for and start feeling like yourself again.
I can't live without the LED face mask. I use it every single day to help my skin look as young as it can. It's also so relaxing. I love to just sit down and turn on the red light and relax. With just 10-minute sessions 3 to 5 times a week, you or your loved ones will see brighter skin. In a clinical study, 90% of people saw a reduction in wrinkles, redness, and pore size with iRestore's Illumina face mask. Red light therapy is not just a fad. It's clinically proven to work. Now's the perfect time to treat yourself. For a limited time only, our listeners get $625 off their iRestore Elite when you use code NEXTLEVEL at irestorelaser.com. That's $625 off your iRestore Elite at irestorelaser.com with promo code NEXTLEVEL. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Hair loss is frustrating. You don't have to fight it alone thanks to iRestore.
So the next scene.
Oh,
I know.
It's so
it's just
weird.
Such a whole cringe thing.
There was a lot of debate about, I guess, we weren't involved on like the decision-making process on how this was going to go down, but I guess behind the scenes, there was a lot of debate on how the scene where they reveal who got Playmate of the Year was going to be done. And we were supposed to invite all the girls over to the Playmate house along with other former Playmates and Playmates of the Year to have a pizza party. And in commentary, I'm talking about how uncomfortable I felt because I felt like, I don't know if everyone knew, because when we had Sarah on for her interview, which if you haven't listened to that, please go listen to our Sarah Underwood interview because she shares how she felt during this whole time. Somebody asked me that in the Q&A. They're like, you should have Sarah come on and talk about her experience. I'm like, we did in this exact episode. We'd love to have Sarah back to talk about her future episodes.
Yeah.
But she very much talks about this specific episode in her interview. And she seemed to not know, but I felt like everyone knew. And I'm like, this is so embarrassing. So we were having this pizza party where we're all hanging out at the Playmate house, waiting for a phone call for Hef to call one of the girls over and tell them.
But the girls supposedly don't know that's what we're waiting for. We're just doing this impromptu pizza party.
And then I heard this other weird rumor after the fact, and I don't remember exactly what I heard, but I heard a rumor that they initially wanted to like call just Allison and Sarah over and tell them both on camera who got it. And I think what I heard was Allison heard about that and was really offended that they would do that to her, which I understand. Like, nobody wants to be put on the spot like that.
Yeah. I feel like Allison found out about that after the fact.
Yeah, because I remember hearing a little something about it. But we weren't involved in like the decision making of how that would go down.
So I always thought that they wanted Hef to come to the house and make an announcement.
I think they did, and he refused to do it because he wasn't comfortable telling the girls who didn't get it they didn't get it. Because like we've said in last week's episode, they didn't like call up every candidate and go, oh, sorry, you're not getting it this year. They were just kind of left to like figure it out, which I understand coming from him. I wouldn't want to do that either. But then later, he leaves the responsibility to Sarah, and it's worse for her to have to go tell her, oh, I got it.
Yeah,
you know?
totally. So, but before we get to all that, you walk in and you bring some surprise guests. You bring in Cara Zavaleta and Carmela and Tiffany.
And it's weird because we're walking down the hall and Cara Zavaleta goes, hookers, I smell hookers. And I know she's just being funny, but even watching it now, I'm like, it is weird to me.
Me too.
And I get kind of offended.
Me too.
I'm oversensitive though.
Yeah, but I don't love it. Like, I don't love women calling each other names like that. Like, even if you're doing it in jest and everything, I just don't think it's attractive. I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of like I know she didn't mean it that way. Like, she's being funny, but
I know too.
Even watching it back, I'm like, why is she calling everybody hookers and saying I smell hookers?
Yeah.
And Janine makes this funny joke because they're all kind of sitting around in one room, and Carmela and Tiffany are there, and they used to live in that room, and now Janine lives in that room. And she goes, "Oh, this must be the Playmate of the Year room because you're here, and me."
Yeah,
this is very cute. So we ordered Domino's pizza, and we used to order Domino's pizza all the time.
Yes.
And what we would specifically get was the thin crust cheese pizza, and we would dump Parmesan cheese on it.
I love to get the thin crust. The like combination, the one that had like a little bit of everything on it.
Oh yeah, we would get that sometimes.
I loved it so much. And I don't know if you guys have ever had the Domino's thin crust. This was back when there was only like regular and thin, I think, too. There wasn't like other size crusts or anything, but it was like cracker. It was like a cracker crust. It was so good. And you could eat a bunch of it because it was like low calorie for pizza anyway.
We've graduated to Fresh Brothers.
Yes.
They do the skinny crust.
Yes.
And then they show you appear out of nowhere, which
know.
Of course you're going to be there, but it's like you and then later Kendra are just kind of there.
Right, but there's zero. It was weird how they did it.
It's not like you walking in the door the way everybody else does.
Or say hi to anybody. Or there's no like kind of initiating that we're there. It's just all of a sudden they just flash a camera to us. It's like all of a sudden they have to be like, oh, by the way, these two are here too. It's weird. It's really weird. And of course, what they have to show me doing is grabbing all the pizzas and walking off with them. And then it cuts back to Heffy sitting in the office and he's talking to Gary from Chicago. And by the way, when this is going on, there's like, it's almost like that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire music playing.
Music,
like,
yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
And Hef talks about someone getting the majority of the readers' poll votes. And of course, we know, spoiler alert, it's Sarah.
Yes.
And do you remember that Hef thought the vote had been rigged?
Only after you told me did I have like a vague recollection of it.
And this has to do with Myspace, which was a very big part of my life in 2007. I made you a Myspace page.
Yes.
Did you ever use it much?
I did. I used it. I mean, I wasn't interested in starting MySpace. Then you started it for me.
Yeah.
You're like, no, you have to do it. And then, but the one thing I remember most about it, and I know you want to talk about a couple different things about it, but like, we were in the height of the show at that time. So there were so many people requesting like friend requests. And like, I actually had to ask another fan who I was like friends with to help me with like accepting all these people, and I never got through them all. Like, I couldn't accept them all.
Yeah, for those who don't know, MySpace was like the first real popular social media site. You could make a little page and customize it, and people could leave comments. You had a profile picture. You could pick a profile song. You had your little bio. You could write blog posts. If you did YouTube videos, you could hyperlink those and embed them. And one of the most controversial features was the top 8, where you had to rank your friends. That didn't start any drama at all.
Right?
Do you remember who was in your top 8?
No. I definitely don't. I mean, probably you and Kendra. Or I think I remember Crystal being in there. But no. And doesn't everybody automatically have Tom in there? If you guys remember who Tom was.
Yeah, Tom, the creator of MySpace, had a page, and your first friend was always Tom. You could kick him out of your top 8.
Okay.
But your first friend was always Tom. And I remember in my top 8, well, I made a page for Hef, so he was in my top 8.
I probably had him then.
You, Kendra, my friend Ashley, when she had a page. And as far as the other 4, I know for a fact Sarah Underwood was. And I remember the weird thing about top 8 too is you would put your top 8 in an order to make it even more suspenseful. But sometimes there would be a glitch in the system and they would rearrange them for you.
So my cats are indoor cats, year-round. And when it's freezing outside, I'm an indoor human. And when we're all stuck inside and it's too cold to crack the windows or open the doors, I worry about the indoor litter boxes. But not anymore. I don't let that nasty smell ruin my winter wonderland because I've switched to Pretty Litter. Pretty Litter's non-clumping formula traps odor and moisture. It's ultra-absorbent, it's lightweight, low dust, and one 6-pound bag works for up to a month. And this is the really cool part. Pretty Litter gives me peace of mind. It changes color to indicate early signs of potential illnesses in my cat, like urinary tract infections, kidney issues, and more. And we know that cats are often afflicted by those things. Since Pretty Litter ships free right to my door, I never have to run out of litter. I don't have huge kitty litter bags taking up space. I don't have to go out in the cold and lug those huge tubs from a store to my car and into my house. They are so heavy and it's so hard to lift them in and out of the cart and in and out of the trunk. Plus, when I use the old litter, I would have a huge plume of dust in my face.
Indoor cats and indoor humans agree. Pretty Litter helps their house smell fresh and clean. Go to prettylitter.com/nextlevel to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. That's prettylitter.com/nextlevel to save 20% on your first order and get a free cat toy. prettylitter.com/nextlevel. Terms and conditions apply. See site for details. And then it got to a point as the years went on where you could expand and you could do like a top 16. So more people were included then.
I honestly don't remember who my top 8 were, but it was probably something similar to yours because it was the girls we were hanging out with and friends with at the time. So it was probably very similar.
Yeah. And as far as like getting followers, it's not like today where anybody could just follow you. It was as if you had a private Instagram account, but you didn't. Everybody was like this. People would sign up to follow you and you had to accept them. And you could get like a bot program on your computer that would do it for you automatically, but those would always glitch and stop after a certain point. So how many followers you had wasn't necessarily a measure of how popular you were. It was a measure of like, can you add all the requests you're getting? Like there were 2 girls at the time who were like famous on MySpace for like having the most followers. And my question was not how they got so popular, but like, how did you add all those people?
Yeah.
So MySpace was interesting. But anyway, so there was this kid named DJ Rex, who I think was also in our top 8 at one point because he like asked to be, because he would be like, I'll make you a banner or I'll make you these cute graphics if you put me in your top 8 or if you plug this or whatever. So DJ Rex was helping all 3 of us. And somehow Hef was like aware of the DJ Rex thing. And for some reason, I don't know why he was so surprised. I don't think surprised it was her, but surprised at like the large margin. And he told me that he needed to go have a talk with Kendra because he was suspicious that Kendra had asked DJ Rex to rig the vote for Sarah, which I don't know why he thought that, because if Kendra was going to get it rigged for anybody, wouldn't she have got it rigged for Monica? And why is Kendra the one getting it rigged?
Right.
And I'm so confused. But also, my other confusion is they kept going by the readers poll even after that. And my question is, if Hef thinks the readers poll is so permeable and corruptible, why does he even trust the readers poll so much?
Yeah.
Because doesn't it stand to reason with Playmate of the Year being such a coveted title that 1 out of the 12 girls would be able to find a hacker or hire bots or even enlist like a ton of people? Like maybe they would do, because people would do this for Dancing with the Stars too. Like they would do like, they'd get like their church's email list and blast and be like, everybody vote for me. Like, don't you feel like.
Yeah. I mean, if I was up for Playmate of the Year, I would be trying to enlist everybody.
100%.
I mean, I don't think I'd go into like sabotaging the actual poll or whatever, but I'd be doing whatever I could in my power. Like, at events, I'd be like, everybody vote for me right now.
Yeah.
Like, everybody get out your phones and dial this number or whatever. Like, I would definitely be pushing it. I'd be telling all my family to tell everyone they knew. And
Yeah.
like, I would be doing what I could. So, yeah. And then don't you think that it's possible that it got, like, fixed in the future?
I understand looking at it to kind of get an indication and taking that into consideration.
Right. Well, I guess it's a tangible thing that they can go back on and be like, well, look, she won the readers poll. So, like, if anybody's questioning it or anybody's upset about it, they have something that they can show. And it wasn't just like, oh, because we like this other girl better.
Yeah, or if he had a couple people in the running in his head, maybe that just is like the eeny, meeny, miny, mo of it all.
Yeah.
So
the catch to get... Oh, wait, one more thing about MySpace I wanted to ask you. The 2 people with the most followers, was that Tila Tequila?
I don't know if they had the most followers, but the 2 that were famous for having a ton of followers were Tila Tequila and Forbidden.
Oh, Forbidden. I forgot about that.
I remember they gave her a minor pictorial, but her set was really cool. It was like a graveyard.
Ah!
Do you remember that pictorial?
No, but I would want to see that. No?
Yeah.
Did they give Tila Tequila a thing too?
No, she was a cyber girl before she
Okay.
got popular on MySpace.
I knew she had something with
Yeah.
Playboy. So it's really interesting what they do here as far as calling over to the house, and then they say a certified letter, and it's such an old-fashioned thing to say. It's so old-fashioned. I mean, it's really old-fashioned now to be like, oh, you have a certified letter. But back then it was even old-fashioned to the point where Sarah didn't even know what that meant.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What does that mean? A certified letter? What do you mean I have to sign for mail?
Is that the same thing as like registered mail?
No, I think...
Like how you send your taxes?
Well, I think register just means you get like a receipt
Yeah.
for sending it, but like a certified letter, you actually have to sign for it to say you got it.
Yeah.
And they
that's
handed
nuts.
it to you. So like I mean, I think you can still do it. It's not like it's a thing you can't do, but who does that anymore? I mean, maybe if you work in the law profession or something like that, but no regular person would do that. But anyway,
And I just, like, we must have just been, like, not making eye contact with anyone at that point. Because we're supposed to act like we don't know what's going on.
well, I don't know if you guys can notice in this episode because it's not about me from here on out in this episode or any part of this really, but I am like gone. Like I disappeared. Like I feel like I like snuck out of that house, went back to my room and was like, I am just going to wait this out. And even, well, we'll get to it. There's another scene later and I just feel like I can feel my awkwardness and my like nervousness. And it's just, yeah. But we know what's going on. Whether the other girls do or not, I don't know. But we know what's going on. And we just look like we're like,
and we feel like we think everybody knows what's going on,
Yeah.
but we have to act like we don't know. So it's really awkward. And Sarah walks over there wearing Victoria's Secret mucklucks. And we saw you wearing Victoria's Secret mucklucks earlier. And I had some I wore. And I'm pretty sure, I think I got those for all you guys for Christmas
Yeah.
when I brought like the gift bags over to the Playmate house. Because in the Christmas episode, they make it look like I just give them merch about myself. But that wasn't the case. It was
Yeah.
like a bunch of other like Victoria's Secret stuff. And
Yeah.
I love those mucklucks. I wish they still made them.
they were comfy.
They were, I never got into Uggs. Like I was more into those cute mucklucks.
Yeah. So she's walking down the hall, and it's interesting how they do it because they do a whole camera shot, like POV of somebody walking down the hall, like all, and the intense dramatic music is playing, and then Hef is standing there, and he says, "I'm the guy that you came to see," and he pulls her into the office, and they reveal at that moment that it's Sarah.
And we know from Sarah's interview that she shared with us that she really didn't know what was going on. And she was like, a certified letter, what? So she goes over there, and it wasn't until she was going into the office and saw Hef was there, she was like, oh shit, are they going to tell me I'm PMOY?
Well, she said she saw one of the cameramen too, like duck into the room. And that was her first, like, oh my God, it's PMOY moment. Which kind of gives me the chills all over my body. Like my cheeks feel like the hair standing on end. Like,
but even then, she might not have known for sure, because I might have been thinking, what if they're calling us over one-on-one to tell us if we got it or not?
I would
like,
be
it could have been anything.
I would also be thinking, knowing me, I would be thinking that I was in trouble for something.
Yeah, totally.
I'd be like, they're kicking me out.
Yeah.
I'm getting called in because they're kicking me out of the Playmate house or something.
Yeah. And it's so emotional watching her get it.
Yeah. And, like, how do you react to something like that?
I know, because you feel like you could never look as grateful as you are, you know?
And you're trying to comprehend it.
Yeah.
But then you have the cameras on you too, and you know everybody's waiting on a reaction. Not just Hef and Mary, but like the cameras and like the rest of the world that's watching this is all waiting to see how you're going to react to this news. And as far as I know, it's the first time ever that Playmate of the Year is being told
On camera
like that.
And you know that your friends who are also in the running are going to see this, so you want to behave in a way that's humble. You know, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's like winning a pageant, kind of. Except at least with winning a pageant, there's a template. Like, you know, the girl's supposed to go, and kind of bend at the knees and crouch down a little bit when she's crowned. And then she's supposed to go, and walk down. Like, there's a template for a pageant. So actually, there's no pressure with that, I don't think. I think people probably know what to do. Not say no pressure, like you're not excited, but you know what to do. Nobody knows what to do in this situation.
No, and like I said, you've never seen anybody else react to it before because you've never seen anybody else get it.
Yeah. And then the responsibility of telling the other girls.
Yeah, and Hef says.
Falls on, no, you can go tell the other girls. And she's like, oh, great. Which I'm not totally trying to throw Hef under the bus here, because if I were him, I wouldn't relish in telling the other girls either. But throwing it on Sarah, I think he's just completely oblivious to the fact that it's worse for her.
Yeah.
God. And Allison is such a good sport when she's told, especially since I think we kind of get the idea that everybody kind of thought she was the front runner, and she might have been already mentally prepared for that. But she's such a good sport. And I just, when I see this scene, I'm like, I wish they would have been playmates in different years and could have both got it.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting, and maybe it's just not shown in the right time frame. And like I said, I went and like hid in my room for a little while. But you're out with the dogs, so you're already back over and have gone and gotten your dogs and taken them outside. And it looks like Sarah's just kind of coming out from the office, but Allison is already walking over and Janine is walking over. It's like the cat was out of the bag. That
I think it was kind of mutiny on the bounty at that point. Like, I think if people hadn't figured it out before the call, they did after. And everybody was kind of like, okay, we're done with this scene and we want to know what's going on. And maybe everybody wanted to disperse because maybe they were afraid that the cameras were going to come back to the planned place and get the reaction, and didn't want to be, because nobody wants to be put in that spot, you know?
Yeah. It just seemed like kind of everybody was all over the place. Like, you would think that if you were a producer on this scene, what you would have wanted was all the girls to stay put and for Sarah to come back and make the announcement and see everyone's reaction. I'm just saying, I don't think that that's right. But like I'm saying, if I were a producer, that's probably what I would think would happen. But instead, it's kind of all over the place. I don't even know where Kendra is. I'm disappeared. You're kind of like, I don't want to be part of the scene. I'm just walking my dogs. And Allison comes over and Janine comes over, and it's all kind of separate and kind of, I don't want to say, it's not chaotic, but it's very like
disorganized.
Yeah. And weird.
Well, somebody asked me this question too. I just remembered. So I'm in confessional and I say, I was totally shocked to find out Sarah got Playmate of the Year. And somebody asked me, were you really shocked? Did you think she wasn't getting it? Was she not your choice? And I'm just parroting shit back. I'm not shocked, like I didn't think she was going to get it or she wasn't one of my front runners. Like,
yeah.
So not shocked, like I didn't think she was going to get it, but I would have been shocked anybody announced. Like, because there were, a couple that were in the running and.
Yeah. So then this next scene, this is where I feel all the anxiety and stuff. Like, I don't want to be there, and it's all an awkward thing, but we're all in the med room.
Yeah.
And, like, I walk over and give her a hug and tell her congratulations. And Kendra walks over and gives her a hug and says congratulations. And I don't know, the other girls are all sitting there and it just feels cringe and awkward, and I feel like I'm still playing dumb, like I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like I'm still putting on the act when I'm in there, and I was like, oh, congratulations. Because I don't want the other girls to be like, all these bitches knew.
And did we know it was Sarah, or were we like, oh, Sarah got called for the letter, it was definitely her? I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah, I don't
they weren't trying to tell us.
I don't remember either, but I do know that the second the phone call came, whoever was leaving, I knew.
Yeah, totally.
We knew that. So we definitely knew at this point. But I feel like in the med room, I'm still trying to be like, oh, what?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Totally.
What was your certified letter?
Best and worst. Do you have your best and worst?
I do. So my worst is, honestly, my worst is not getting to know the other girls.
Yeah.
That was what this episode was about. I thought we were going to we complained about the first one not doing that enough, and I really thought this one was going to do it. And I guess you get to see the girls a little bit more and know just like a tiny bit more of their personality, only because they're on camera a tiny bit more, but you still don't know shit about anybody. But I will also say my worst is how they treat the food scene at the German restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so bad, and it's so relentless, and it's every episode.
And they add the slurping noises that I hate and burping noises that make me want to vomit.
It's just so bad. The whole thing
Yeah.
is so bad. And then the best, I guess it's the best and a worst, but like the fact that Sarah's moment is caught on camera is kind of sweet and nice to have that captured. Kind of sucks too. We talked about all the down reasons why wasn't great, but like I think it's also kind of nice to have it captured.
Oh, totally. My best and worst are two sides of the same coin. Best is I wanted to do this episode because I wanted to get to know the girls better, see more of them, expand the world. Like I love that we got a whole chunk with Crystal Camden, and the 4 girls got featured. Like I love all that. I even love the little confessional bits we got with Crystal and Sarah. My worst, and what I would change if I could change it, is I feel like it was only like halfway achieved. Like you said, it could have been done better. We actually really didn't get to know anything about the girls. Like, oh, cool, we know Sarah and Allison worked at Hooters and what their ideal things would be. But we should have got more of like the hopes and dreams and what do you want to do with your life after PMOY and what brought you here and
background.
So that's that episode. But it was a nice start as far as like expanding the world and getting to know more girls, because we'll do a couple more episodes that are kind of similar to this in the future, and I always like those episodes. So we will be back next week with another new episode. If you'd like more content in the meantime, you can check out our Patreon at patreon.com/girlsnextlevel, or check out our merch at girlsnextlevel.shop, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.